Hello and welcome to the Dark Mount video review for the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters 2014 Voyager Predaking. Now this is the new mold that people were calling the Upscaled Cyberverse. As you can see, he is actually larger than the Voyager and about the same size as the $60 Beastfire Predaking that came out at the end of 2013 in the Predacons Rising line. He is based on the Cyberverse mold, I will say that. He is, however, contrary to popular belief, not an upscaling of that mold. I repeat, he is not an upscaling of the Cyberverse mold. He shares the same transformation scheme. That's about it. Almost every single part, if not every single part, on this figure is a new molded piece. And to be perfectly honest, it is better than any other Predaking we have gotten from the Prime line, hands down. First off, as you can see here, it scales much better compared to the Voyager. It's much cheaper than the $60 version. It doesn't have that stupid battery compartment gimmick and all that. The head, thus, is actually posable, which is nice. The only place that I think this is a weaker figure is in the paint scheme. The fact that they chose to go with some translucent plastic, and even the purple here is kind of a pearlescent, translucent purple color. If they had chosen to go with just a pure black and orange, or even like a faded black and kind of gradient color like the $60 Beastfire, I think this would be quite literally a perfect figure. As it stands, it's still definitely hands down the best option out there if you're looking for a good Predaking in scale that's not going to set you back $60 and actually is going to have some good posability and not have a giant battery pack on its back. So I'm going to take these guys out of here, since we'll do actual size comparisons all around later, but I will be bringing this figure in, probably very frequently, just to point out the fact that these aren't the same toys. They're just not, guys. They're not. I know everyone was really upset when they announced these figures and said they were going to be terrible and that they were, ushering in the age of the destruction of Transformers and all that, but I've got to be honest, it was a lot of hoopla, because this is a good figure, and this is an even better figure, and they're not the same thing. So in his beast mode, Predaking is pretty massive. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of in this entire mode is the fact that I can't find anywhere better to store this gun. I might just be missing something. It's very possible that there's somewhere else this is supposed to go. If there is, I can't find it. It doesn't store underneath anywhere. It doesn't seem to peg in anywhere except this one hole. And there's no way for this to be good. You can't make it face forward and look good. You can't make it face back and look good. So this is probably going to be one of those pieces that if you're storing this figure in beast mode for display, you might not be storing this on him. This might go in a bag somewhere. The box art and instructions for this figure actually show this tail being the other way around with the orange part on there. I think it looks ridiculous, so I'm not going to be displaying mine that way. It looks much better this way as far as I'm concerned, and especially if you are planning on storing the gun there, there's very obvious reasons why you might not want to have the gun stored here with the tail upside down. Just saying. His wings are articulated. They won't go further down in this mode due to the shoulders, but they will go all the way up. And they will also collapse. So you can get them out all the way forward, actually. And they will collapse all the way back. So you have a lot more posability in the wings than the Cyberverse. So that's totally remolded wings. These are not the Cyberverse wings. Other than that, these legs have this articulation. However, they do not have any foot articulation. They move in and out These legs just move in and out. There's no forward and backward movement like there is on these. So they are trapped in this position. As you can see, they're actually on clip, whereas these are on an actual joint. Remolded. The front arms are on very heavy ratchet joints with outward movement and full rotation here. You have very heavy ratchet joints in the elbows, as well as some swivel. And you have movement in the hands, or claws, I guess those would be. No swivel. As you can see here, these are actually on ball joints, which are on a peg that wiggles back and forth in the body. These shoulder pads are actually attached to the arms, and you have pin joint, rotation, and this. So again, the hand is the same basic concept, however not a single piece from here has been upscaled on here. It's all remolded. The head and neck are one solid piece, whereas on the Cyberverse they actually split in half for transformation. Whereas on the Cyberverse this is all one part and there is no head articulation of any kind. There is actually a decent amount of posability in the neck. He'll go from all the way here to down there. He does not have any mouth articulation of any kind, and he does not have any neck articulation of any kind. This guy, his head is actually on ball joints. So again, this entire section, totally remolded, different piece. The tail is also totally remolded. It pegs in using a peg on either side of the sword, pegging into both of the shin parts. Whereas the weapon on this figure pegs in using this peg to that hole. So that is also remolded. So as you can see, at least in beast mode, and we'll go back over this in robot mode, every single part on this figure is remolded. So let's get down to transformation, which is going to be pretty simple. Gonna just get the wings out of our way, straighten the arms out, fold these out so the hands are revealed. Move the wings out of your way again. Pop both of these up. They are attached to right here and right there with two pegs. And these two are on very heavy ratchet joints. You can split them at this point now at the knees to get this sword out. And then continue opening up the legs. Then you can fold the feet out, rotate these down, fold them in, and the back of these feet have a hole right here that will peg in to the peg right here. So you fold that in, peg that around, and there you have one of his legs. Do that to the other side, fold it around and peg it in, and there you have his second leg. Now as you can see, he's getting pretty large. I can just straighten out his head and fold this entire back portion down and spin his head around and pose up the wings however you would like them. And there you have the new 2014 Transformers Prime Voyager Predaking. Now, whereas the old school Voyager had these horrible hands that just clamped shut like this, that you could barely get to hold anything at all, this Predaking has the claw hands that fold into feet, and while they are still very claw-like, you'll see there is also a normal peg hand within there, so he can still hold normal weapons. Which, as far as I'm concerned, is the best of both worlds. You get the cool, scary claw, and you get his ability to hold weapons. Now, again, I'm not going to go through the whole transformation here because it's not necessary. This chest piece is a different mold than this. The joints in the legs here oh, that was easy. The joints in the legs here were ball joints, whereas they have been completely replaced. These thigh pieces are an entirely different ratio. They've been remolded. They're thicker on the top versus these, which are longer and skinny. The entire shin piece has been remolded. It's all different. The foot is a different mold. It's very similar, but you can tell that this one has blades down on the bottom here, where this one actually has flat metal parts and a slight blade over here. They are different parts. The arms, shoulders, head, the entire dragon part back here, the wings, every single piece on this figure is different than the parts on this figure. It, again, shares the same transformation scheme. It does a lot of the same things. It just does them better. It does them with more articulation. It does them with better joints. And it does them with better parts, better sized wings, and better looking everything. Like I said before, my single complaint about this is still the translucence. I don't hate it. It doesn't totally throw me off, but I think the plain black and orange color scheme would have made this thing just completely over the top. As it stands now, I'm going to do his articulation, and then I'm going to do some robot mode size comparisons with some other Prime guys so we can see how he stacks up in terms of scale. I'll get the wings out of the way. He has full rotation, about 90-degree elbow, and then a full rotation in the swivel above the elbow. And his hands move in and out for transformation, but they do not have any swivel or other articulation of their own. He also has an outward movement, as do these. And they also have forward and backward. And as you can tell, pretty much everything on this figure is on a ridiculously stiff ratchet joint. There's this, and these leg bits, I think, are the only things on here. Well, this is also not on a ratchet, but everything else is on really crazy stiff ratchet joints, which is very nice. It holds its poses very well. You have a knee bend and an above the knee swivel, and you have this foot articulation, but it is very limited. It doesn't have any waist articulation. And unlike all the other versions of this, these big spikes don't move or anything. So I will go grab a couple of my other Prime figures, and we will do some size comparisons. And there you have the new mold with the old Voyager, his Cyberverse companion, Megatron in his Dark Energon fashion, as well as Starscream in the same, and Beast Hunter's Shockwave. As you can see, this is a much better scale for Predaking than this, compared to all the other figures in the line. This This is just wrong. This is just wrong. I'm not saying he's a terrible figure, but look at his wings. They're terrible. Whose idea was this? This is stupid. Compared to his original Voyager counterpart, he has the wing articulation in his favor, whereas this figure has these ridiculous... I hate these things. These are the worst wings on any Transformer I've ever seen. I've got to be honest. I would have preferred some old school Beast Wars Air Razor, just solid, unmovable chunks of plastic than this. This is ridiculously bad. The only thing that this guy really has that the new Predaking lacks completely is the waist articulation. I also like the way, during transformation, this guy's torso kind of collapses in on itself and combines with his legs. That's a cool gimmick for transformation. So again, I'm not saying that this original Voyager is a bad figure. This is just a much better figure. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this guy back here, worlds better than this figure. If you were going to get a single Predaking for display or for your collection, there's absolutely no reason that I can see to get the original Voyager over the new one. There's just a world of difference between them. His weapon is much better than this guy's weird little thing. I mean, it's everything about him except his paint is better than this guy. That's just the long and short of it. He's a better figure. He's probably got better paint. It's kind of unfortunate. I might even try picking another one of these guys up and just trying to replicate that paint scheme on him. Because these guys are cheap, man. I mean, especially considering the old option for a better scaled Predaking was the $60 Beastfire. This guy is Voyager price, so that's wonderful. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for checking out a mold that I know a lot of people were pretty upset about. I'm going to go figure out why my dog's having a nervous breakdown, and I hope to catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.